Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. This is a community coffee break, so a shorter webinar for us to take a break from our day-to-day and come learn about right-click tools. And today we're going to be talking about unlocking efficiency and specifically software updates and patching. So a little bit of housekeeping before we hop in. There's some content available for you on the side panel within the webinar platform. That's our Right-Click Tools Community 5.4 download. That's our latest release. There's also some content you can download, and then our Recast Academy course. And if you're unfamiliar with Academy, it's our courses so that you can get the most out of our tools. It's a self-paced learning platform that we create for users like you. And then we want you to interact with us. So we have a live chat. We'll be manning the chat and answering any questions. You can also submit any questions in case we have time for live Q&A at the end. And then we're going to have a poll, and interactions within the chat and the poll give you extra entries into our giveaway. So everyone on the webinar today is automatically entered into a giveaway for a $100 digital gift card. But any polls or questions you submit will give you extra entries. So for our agenda, a little bit of an overview of our webinar series. It's a 3-part series: today, next Thursday, and then the following Thursday. There's really so much that you can do within right-click tools. So we've broken it down into 3 separate sections. Today, it's going to be software updates and patching. Next week, we're going to dive into productivity and automation. And then the following week will be all about inventory and visibility. So today, for software updates and patching, we're going to focus on 3 main things: Remote Software Center, client actions, and software updates deployment status, or SUDS dashboard. So for our speakers today, I have Courtney and John from our team joining us. I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. I'm Courtney. I am a solutions engineer. I've been a sysadmin for a number of years, and I've actually used the right-click tools before I started working here. So I've used it out in a few different organizations, from banking to healthcare. So I got a little bit of experience. So I'll be going through the demo today and showing you some tips and tricks on how to use the right-click tools.
And my name is John Yoakum. I have been a sysadmin for over 20 years. The last 9 years prior to Recast, I worked in education space with in Config Manager and over 10,000 devices. And I'm here to help answer questions and help support Courtney.
Awesome, thank you both. So really at Recast in general, we're here to empower IT teams at every single endpoint. And we do this in a lot of different ways, whether it's preventing against vulnerabilities, making sure your devices and apps are always compliant, automating tasks to avoid risk and make your jobs easier, automate third-party patching, and then manage privilege access. And these are just a few of the ways that we help. So as you're thinking about your role and how you're currently using right-click tools, be submitting any questions for how we can make it easier for you. Because you'll see on the right, there are over 70,000 community users, 70,000 people using right-click tools. So we have a subset of you here today, and our goal is to help you get the most out of it. We have a 4.9 average review rating, and we serve over 125 countries at this time. So with that being said, let's hop into the demo. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Courtney.
Thanks, Haley. Get my screen shared here. Awesome. So to get us started, I want to start talking about applications. Our applications, they have a whole life cycle. You know, in Config Manager, building them, deploying them, that kind of whole life cycle. And especially when you're going into maybe a new environment, you don't always know where everything is located. If you're trying to build a new app, or maybe you just don't want to go searching for it. So one of my tools that I really like, I'm just in applications. select an application and we go to our deployment types here. And it allows you to actually grab where that content is. So if I wanted to, say, make a new version of the Recast agent here, we can, I don't know where it's located off the top of my head. Maybe it's not in a standard location. Maybe I just don't want to go looking through File Explorer. So I will actually go over here to the right-click tool and open our content source path. And that actually brings me directly to where that source is located. And so then I can either, maybe replace that file and copy it, or maybe just download the new installer, make a new folder for the new version, things like that. I worked at a place where I came in and I was new in the environment, and there was no standard on where everything was located, how it was formatted. So that tool right there saved me a ton of time. It's a community tool, and it allows you to just come into your applications. So, kind of in the application lifecycle process, now that I've built this app, say, just for the sake of time, it's already pre-built, and I've deployed it. So I've deployed it to this collection, and I actually have the ability to use right-click tools to, do different actions on this deployment. So maybe I just deployed it and I don't want to wait around. So I could actually use like machine policy retrieval and evaluation cycle. I can run it against that whole deployment, and it can make sure it's grabbing that new application on that device, push out that policy, force that device to check in with config manager, because I don't want to wait around. My patience is pretty limited. So you can just run that action. And the nice thing is you have this, what we kind of call a deployment launcher, where you can actually run it on just kind of the statuses that you want. So maybe you have a few that aired out or that are in progress. You can just select that status, go ahead and hit start, and it would run that cycle or whatever tool you're using. Another fun tool you can use, you can do it from here. Kind of like what a rule of thumb I use is, when I'm in config manager and have the right click tools installed, is just right clicking on things and seeing what kind of options you have, because they are spread throughout. I know a lot of times we talk about under like assets and compliance, under your devices tab or node, the right click tools, but they're also scattered throughout config manager. So sometimes I'll just go in here and start right clicking on things and be like, oh, look, cool, there's a tool that I didn't realize was in there. Like another one I use a lot is like Remote Software Center. In the community edition, you get to be able to see what your applications are looking like. So I can see if this one is installed from here. I have other options over here on the left that I'll talk about in a little bit. But I have that ability to see, oh, hey, it did get installed. We're good to go. It is deployed to that machine. Maybe I need to look up that machine and someone's like, hey, I need this application and it's not installed. So I can say, hey, go install this Adobe Reader in this case. I can tell that user it should be in your software center. Go ahead and install. Or maybe, it's not there, so I have to go deploy that application to that device. Oh. We also have some other type of community tools related to applications. If there's an application that I maybe want to uninstall, maybe it's not supposed to be in this environment, I can actually open system information. And system information is kind of one of my favorites, especially in the enterprise version of the right-click tools, because you can get a lot of great information. For applications, you can actually see what's installed. So this works a little differently than Remote Software Center, where this actually shows you what's installed in your applications or in like kind of more like programs and features type thing, what's on the device and actually installed, to see like the install date, versions, and you get this uninstall string. So if I'm building an app and I don't want to go look for the uninstall string, I can just quickly grab it from system information. and grab that uninstall. I can copy and like paste it into like a notepad to grab that uninstall string. You can also kick off an uninstall from here. So with the right click tools, a lot of the community edition, you can only select a device at a time. So you are kind of limited on kind of the efficiency because you only get one device, whereas the enterprise version, you can run these tools against multiple devices. You can run it against a whole device collection. You have a little bit more options in doing actions. So if I wanted maybe 7-zip to no longer be there, I can go ahead and kick off an uninstall from here. Maybe just Firefox. I'll just go ahead and uninstall it. And it kicked off that uninstall, and it adds that QN and no restart. So it's quiet, and it will not restart the device. And on my other device, it will have already uninstalled, kicked it off. So also kind of in this section, I know we talked about applications, but kind of moving on to some of the tools related to software. We have our Windows updates, so you can actually see what kind of updates are installed when it got installed on this device. So for the community users, I can come here and see, make sure that all the KBs that are supposed to be on this device are indeed installed. Maybe they're not, so I need to go remediate that. Maybe there's an important one. I can also go to operating system, and I like to see if there's a pending restart. Sometimes it just hasn't updated because it is pending that restart, so I could see that here. You can also see last time it was restarted. And I can actually go ahead and click on here. Maybe since I need to get the software updates installed, I come back to Remote Software Center. I can see software updates, and I can actually see what's all missing. So these 3 updates are missing from this device, and I can go ahead and install them from here, get my device compliant, get them, get those updates installed. And I can see information down here as well. So in the community edition for software updates, you can actually see things like error codes, evaluation states. Sometimes that evaluation state will say things like, is it waiting for a maintenance window? Is it pending a soft reboot? Maybe it's downloading, things like that. So if it is in the process of running or has run, there might be an evaluation state here, and you can go remediate that. One thing I didn't know is when I was using them at a previous job is that you can actually, when you see the device in the right-click tools, you can actually right-click on them and go somewhere else. So if I need to pull up a different window, or if I decide I need to just run a cycle, some software update cycle, I can do that from here instead of having to go back out and find that device and right-click on it again. You can do that from here, which I think is really cool. Also in Remote Software Center, you can see things like task sequences. Is that person or is that device have a task sequence deployed to it? You can see it here. So if you maybe troubleshoot why it's not there, if you need it, have someone kick it off, things like that. And you can also see your compliance, which is your configuration items. You can see if it is compliant or not. In the community edition, you can just see if it's compliant or not. You get more information with enterprise, but you can go ahead and kick off that evaluation. I'm going to close out of here. So that was all those tools were done from the application side of things, but you can also do them from like assets and compliance. If you have a device, you can run those tools from here as well. You can go into devices and search for a specific one, different things like that. And we have all sorts of fun tools. I'm sure you guys have used and played around with them. And hopefully you get some use out of the community tools I just showed you. And those same kind of tools can also help when you have the enterprise. We have, I moved over to a different machine that has enterprise, and for like, especially software updates, sometimes you don't know, or you can't remediate what you don't know, things like that, or which devices are maybe non-compliant. You're just kind of shooting in the dark if you're right-clicking one at a time. So with our enterprise version, you actually have the ability to see our software update deployment status dashboard, and it just adds those dashboards down here. Ever seen them? They just expand down below. You can kind of see like a preview in community, but you won't be able to run it. So with enterprise, you can actually see which devices are non-compliant. You can you can limit it to a specific software update group if you want. You can limit it to deployed updates. You can see by category if you want to make sure that all your security updates are installed. See which devices are non-compliant are missing that particular update. You can just see that there's 22 devices that are non-compliant, which devices or what updates that device needs, if it's even been deployed or not. So maybe there's an update that should be installed, but for some reason it's not deployed. You can use this as like a double check to make sure you're not missing anything, things like that. And I can go ahead and select all those devices and then pull up Remote Software Center. So with the enterprise version, this will look a little bit differently. Removes that banner, and you also have the ability to now do actions from here remotely. And I've selected 22 devices, so I can run it on all 22 devices. I can go ahead and install things from here, or even uninstall if you've built it with an uninstall string anyways. You can see any error codes down here, last runtime. So you get a little bit more information with the enterprise version, the ability to take action on a bunch of devices. For software updates, you can see very similar things that we have here where you can kick off an uninstall, and you can do that on a bunch of devices. So you can get your devices updated quicker. You don't have security breathing down your neck saying, why aren't these patched? Things like that. You can do that all from here. You also have the task sequences where you can actually go ahead and run these task sequences and actually install from here, as well as be able to do compliance and go ahead and evaluate those as well. So I can select which ones are non-compliant. I can just select all of them and try to evaluate them and see if I can fix why it is not following the policy, the configuration items I have set up. Also come into a collection as well, and instead of selecting the devices, I can just right click on this collection and go ahead and pull up things like system information. Little known fact, system information is one of my favorite tools. I use that quite a lot to troubleshoot, do all sorts of fun things. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check system information out. Here we have the similar ability to see what's installed that I talked about earlier and uninstalled, but now you can do it on all devices or whichever devices have it installed. So I can see the device count here. There's 20 devices that have this installed. There's 19 that has Firefox installed. So I can now go ahead and uninstall. And if I actually pull up control panel, I no longer have Firefox installed. It was removed when I used the community tools to uninstall it. So and it's honestly pretty instantaneous because I was practicing doing the demo, and I watched it, and it was within a couple seconds, Firefox was gone. It was great. So you get that uninstall string, which is fantastic, and versions and things like that. And also kind of part of the enterprise feature, and not everyone always knows about some of the tools that get added when you have the enterprise version, is the ability to actually create snapshots. So I have, say, this dashboard, software updates, and I want to actually share it with someone. I can export it to CSV, or I can actually go ahead and use this button. It creates a snapshot. And what we've added to our enterprise version is this Recast management server, and it actually comes with, if you ever purchase some of our products, we have them all in kind of one hub, so you can actually see multiple them all in one place. And for the right-click tools, it actually creates like a web version of that dashboard. So if I have my manager or maybe someone I don't trust in Config Manager, I don't want them to be able to do anything, get themselves into trouble, different things like that. I could give them this link instead. They would have access to view what the dashboard looks like. They can even, if they want to modify it, they can. But that way they can just see it and I don't have to worry about them in Config Manager, training them on that or getting themselves into trouble, things like that. I have that ability, which is really nice. And you can see when it was generated as well. So you get that date and time. So you can also kind of see, go back if you ever want to previous versions. You can also set up trends. Pretty much trends are a snapshot over time. So you can actually see your compliance and how, it's grown in this case. All these dots are clickable where you can pull up the web version of what the dashboard looked like. Like our software updates, we do it by month. You can see our February, and we just started our March as well. And we all set that up in the Recast management server, which allows you to also get some other great features for enterprise control, audit logs, things like that, all from like a centralized hub versus where if you have like community, you have to individually have it installed. You don't really have any control over it, things like that. So those are the kind of majority of the application related, software related tools. If you guys have any other of your favorite tools, throw them in the chat. I love hearing which ones are your favorites. Have you used Remote Software Center before? System information? Have you ever used system information? It is my favorite, so I might be hurt if you haven't used it yet, but hopefully this will change your mind. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. You can always reach out to us. We also have a website that you can post questions and things on our website as well. And we can have people reach out, things like that. Thank you everyone for watching the demo. And we have a few things to wrap up, but as far as the demo goes, hopefully you learned something.
Thank you, Courtney. I know you said your favorite tool was system information. John, I'm curious if what your favorite tool was related to like software updates and patching. 'Cause I know you used it for a while.
I have to admit the Remote Software Center is a great one, and same with the system information. It really helps you handle your applications and make sure that what you want there is there and what you don't want is removed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for anyone who's on here, like Courtney said, I'm curious like which tools you've used. Have you used the ones that she showed today? Were they new for you? And if there's any that you would like to learn more about, we can address them in our upcoming webinars in this series. Also, if you would like more tips and tricks to make software management easier for you within your role, and you want to learn more about right-click tools with a demo from Courtney, John, or anyone from our team specifically for your role, let us know, and we can reach out to you for a personalized tour of right-click tools. So take a minute to answer this poll, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, I'm going to close it out. Okay, so our upcoming webinars in this series, like I said, they're 20 to 30 minutes each. Next Thursday, we'll do productivity and automation. And then on April 1st, we'll do inventory and visibility. And it'll be myself, Courtney, and John again. So you'll get familiar with us. Go ahead and sign up for those if you haven't yet. There should be a link within the panel, within the resources for you to easily access that. Thank you for joining us. We will announce the winner of our giveaway via email. So for more information, you can always visit our website, and we hope to see you next week. Thank you for joining us for the coffee break.
Thank you, everyone.